Hi friends, and let us today learn something new with Inclusive Cloud. We are going to learn more about receipts, how to manage excess receipts when customers pay you some amount in excess, how to pass on discounts when they pay you less, how to make a check return entry in case you still accept payments in checks, and how do you edit receipts and how to pass journal vouchers. So let's get into the application and learn more. Once you log into Inclusive Cloud, you would see a menu known as Accounts. And under Accounts, you would have your typical receipts, payments, vouchers, ledger reports, field collection, etc. So now let's get into a receipt and see when the customer pays us extra. So you have a new receipt. And let me select a customer. And let me put a receipt of an excess amount. And let me put it as against invoice. Now, what typically happens is this customer has an outstanding invoice of 1,020 rupees. When I try and save this, the system tells me that the received amount is and the assigned amount, which is there is a yet to be assigned amount of 30 rupees. So you can never assign an excess payment from here. So what you do is you turn this to on account and you save this transaction. Now your bill still stands. So all that you need to do is go into on account mapping as you save the transaction. You see the same payment here. Select this, click on proceed, and map it with what you have as on account, or what you have as an open invoice. So I have mapped 1,020 rupees out here, and the 30 rupees remains as on account. So the next time I want and I would come here, there is a available 30 rupees, and whenever a next invoice is made, you can knock off this amount against the customer. Another typical case is where you are basically making a receipt against a customer who has got a small outstanding pending. So he's not paid an amount. I'm just showing this to you so that I can just explain what happens is. So now there is a 2 rupee outstanding against this amount. There was an invoice of 5,500. He paid everything, but he kept 2 rupees outstanding. Now I can't possibly go back and ask him for 2 rupees. So what you can do in this case is go back to account menu. You can select on vouchers and you can create a new voucher. Now here, what you do is you select party as customer and select your customer. Now this payment amount of 2 rupees, you are doing it and you are crediting the party. And you would have some other ledger which is like cash discount or discount on sales. And you can always create a new ledger by clicking on the plus sign. You can select an account group. If you don't have an account group, it's very easy. You can go into the masters. I'm opening in a new tab and you have the finance master. And here you can create account groups. So you can create account groups like indirect expenses, TCS, printing and stationery expenses, so on and so forth. So you can create a ledger or a GL account here. And I'm debiting it by 2 rupees. So this transaction is what I've saved. And now I've got a 2 rupees on account. So when I go to on account mapping, I can select AR and I see the 2 rupees that I have now passed as a journal voucher available for me. I can select this, click on proceed and knock off this 2 rupees which is outstanding and which always shows up in his outstanding statement. So this is how you knock off some payments which you receive less. Now, there's another way of doing it is when you receive the payment, the moment you receive the payment and you were making a new receipt, you could have passed the discount then and there. So say, for example, I've got this customer who has got this bill of 3,050, which is outstanding. Now I've received 1,000 rupees and I want to give him a discount of 2,050 rupees. So that makes the entire bill go negated. So I will put a narration and save this. So the moment I do this, there is a journal voucher which is created and which will knock off the bill. So there's nothing in the outstanding. So if I go into the CRM and check for the customer statement, so I see that as of today, there's a discount of 2,050 rupees which has been given to the customer, and there's a cash of 1,000 rupees which is given to the customer. Now the customer has made some excessive payments which have been lying, so there is anyways a negative balance due from the customer. So this is how you kind of pass off a discount at the time of creation of a receipt. Well, take another case where a customer has paid you 12,000 rupees and you have knocked off a few invoices. However, this is a check payment. And so I have knocked off these two invoices and I don't know whether the check is going to clear or return. So I have saved this payment. Now, in the evening, I come to know that this check has been returned. So what you can do is you can go into receipt list and you will see all the receipts of that party here. Now, one thing you can do is you can make this as on account. So right now, when you look at the receipt, when you look at the receipt, two invoices have been knocked off. This invoice has been fully knocked off and this invoice has been partially knocked off. Now, because the check has returned back, I will make this payment as on account. So if I click on mark as on account, both those invoices will come back in the customer's outstanding, although the receipt still stands and there are no bills knocked off against it. And this becomes an on account receipt. Now, additionally, what you do is you go into the accounts and you create a voucher. You select your warehouse and you select customer. And you make a 12,000 rupee debit to the customer. And for select others, and you would have a check return ledger. So check return, and I'm adding it here. And I save this. So the moment I save this, there is a on account mapping that's now available. So I select the company, I select the party. And so there is this check return, which is available for 12,000 rupees. I select this, which is the previous check that had come. And there's a new bill which would have been generated, which is the check return bill. So I knock this off against the check return bill. And so that invoice and this bill get knocked off. So in the customer's outstanding report, I don't see that 12,000 rupees on account, which is standing. So this is how you simply make a check return. Apart from this, you also have a facility where you could edit receipts. So as you saw, we kind of made it on account. So now if you see this receipt, it'll be knocked off against that bill which was created for the check return. Similarly, if you want to edit a receipt, you can modify a receipt. If it's not knocked off, you can change the mode. So you can select a cash book. You can have multiple cash books. You can modify from cash to online payment, and then you can select your bank. So in case you've made a wrong payment, you can do that. If you have a suspense account payment, that is, you can create a suspense account, and where you have an on account payment, then these on account, say for example, the first one is on account, I can modify this. I can even, kind of change the name of the party. This is partially on account, but if it's completely on account, I can even change the name of the customer. So hope you keep learning and keep exploring Incluziv Cloud.